Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. The second Empress of Emperor Qianlong, Nala, was a very unique figure in the history of the Qing dynasty. And even in the entire history of China. Her uniqueness lies in the fact that during Qianlong's fourth southern tour, she actually cut her hair in front of him. In Manchu culture, a married woman cutting her hair typically symbolized cursing her husband. Emperor Qianlong, therefore, believed she was cursing him, which made him extremely angry and eventually led to a bitter estrangement between them. However, surprisingly, despite the rift between them, Emperor Qianlong did not depose her as empress. Instead, he employed a form of cold violence. Nala retained the title of empress during her lifetime. But she never received the posthumous title typically given to empresses. Therefore, Nala can be considered one of the most unique empresses in Chinese history, holding the title of empress but lacking the official posthumous name of an empress. There are various theories regarding the reason behind Nala cutting her hair. Some suggest it was due to a dispute caused by Emperor Qianlong's infidelity, while others believe that consort Wei Jia, might have been manipulating the situation behind the scenes. However, based on actual circumstances, it is likely that Qianlong's personal preferences and taste in women played a more fundamental role in the event. Regarding Nala's background, historical records are not detailed, and even her surname is not consistently recorded. In the Qing Shilu, veritable records of the Qing, she is referred to as Empress Nala, while in the Qing Shigao, draft history of Qing, she is called Ula Nala. Additionally, in the Eight Banners Gazetteer compiled by Qianlong's son-in-law, Fu Longan, it is mentioned that her father, Nurbu, was a descendant of the Bail, prince, of the Huihua tribe, which has led some records to refer to her as Huihua Nala. Nala's family background was not particularly distinguished. Her father, Nurbu, was a fourth-rank officer in the banner system. And she was his late-born daughter, with much older siblings. Thus, her family background was relatively ordinary, even quite humble. In 1734, Emperor Yongzheng ordered that 17-year-old Nala marry the then Crown Prince Qianlong, becoming his secondary consort. Only 9 months later, Emperor Yongzheng passed away, and Qianlong ascended to the throne, which made Nala a member of the Qing Imperial court. However, after Qianlong's ascension, although married to Nala, she did not immediately receive his favor. Qianlong's deepest affection remained with Empress Fucha, and later with Empress Huixian, Gao Jia, who also held an important position in Qianlong's heart. As a result, Nala did not occupy a prominent position in Qianlong's harem. Nevertheless, considering the marriage had been arranged by Emperor Yongzheng, Qianlong did give Nala a certain degree of respect. In the second year of his reign, 1737, Nala was given the title of Xianfei, a title for a consort, where the character Xian indicated her gentle and elegant character. These personality traits were precisely what Qianlong admired, fitting the image of the ideal, obedient, and virtuous wife in his mind. Over time, Qianlong's affection for Nala gradually deepened, particularly after Empress Huixian passed away in 1745. Qianlong began showing more affection towards Nala. After the death of Empress Fucha, Nala's position in Qianlong's heart began to rise. According to historical records, in 1748, Empress Fucha passed away after enduring the pain of losing 2 sons, which deeply affected Qianlong and led him into a period of melancholy. During this time, Nala stayed by his side, offering comfort and support. According to the veritable records of Emperor Gaozong of the Qing dynasty, it was during the month following Empress Fucha's death that Nala provided essential companionship, helping Qianlong through one of the darkest periods of his life. In this emotional shift, Nala, with her graceful and calm personality, became a substitute in Qianlong's heart. Over time, his reliance on her increased. Therefore, in 1749, Nala was promoted to the title of the Imperial Noble Consort and began managing the affairs of the harem. Soon after, Nala was formally promoted to empress, effectively in the 15th year of Qianlong's reign, 1750. By then, she had been with Qianlong for many years and had become the most important woman in his life during the void left by the death of Empress Fucha. Nala's promotion not only represented her elevated status in Qianlong's heart but also signified her gradual replacement of Empress Fucha. She thus became a bright pearl in the imperial harem of Qianlong. According to relevant historians, there were several reasons why Emperor Qianlong chose the Nala clan to succeed Empress Fucha. These reasons included both emotional and political considerations. Firstly, Nala was personally selected by Emperor Yongzheng to be Qianlong's side consort and was later crowned as empress. This not only reflected Qianlong's filial piety towards his father Yongzheng, but also hinted at his intention to maintain stability and continue his father's political arrangements after ascending the throne. Secondly, Nala herself was likely to possess qualities of gentleness and virtue, which echoed the character of Empress Fucha. In Qianlong's mind, she almost became the perfect replacement for Fucha. From a political perspective, although Nala was Manchu, her family background was not prominent and posed no threat to Qianlong's rule. In contrast, another of Qianlong's favored concubines, Empress Dowager Chunhui, Su, came from a lower status family but was Han Chinese. Choosing Nala as empress was more in line with Qianlong's political interests. Furthermore, after Empress Fucha's death, Qianlong and Nala enjoyed a very close relationship for the next 17 years. Especially as Nala gave birth to Qianlong's 12th son Yongqi, 13th son Yongjing, and 5th daughter. During this time, Qianlong placed his feelings for Empress Fucha onto Nala. However, what led to the eventual estrangement between Qianlong and Nala? The root cause lies in an incident that occurred during Qianlong's fourth southern tour, involving Nala cutting her hair. Records of this event are very vague. Both the draft history of Qing and the veritable records of Emperor Gaozong of Qing do not provide clear explanations for why Nala cut her hair, nor do they explain her apparent defiance of Qianlong. When Qianlong later explained the situation to the court, he also failed to offer a clear reason, leaving many unanswered questions. According to the veritable records of Emperor Gaozong of Qing, during the fourth southern tour, Qianlong traveled with Nala and other palace women, as well as noblemen. Initially, everything was normal. Qianlong even celebrated Nala's 48th birthday and toured Hangzhou with her, creating a harmonious atmosphere. However, on the day they arrived in Hangzhou, an unexpected event occurred. That morning, Qianlong and Nala had breakfast together and admired the scenery of Hangzhou. But by dinner time, Qianlong was dining with his favored concubine, Lady Wei, and Nala was nowhere to be seen. After dinner, Qianlong issued an imperial order for Prince Fu Longan to escort Nala back to the capital, citing that the empress had suddenly gone mad and needed to return to Beijing for rest. What was even more shocking was that on the way back, Qianlong revealed to his ministers that the empress had cut her hair in front of him and even cursed him, which led him to believe that she had lost her sanity. From this account, it is clear that the rupture between Qianlong and Nala occurred on that day in Hangzhou, likely due to Qianlong's actions during his stay in the south. At this time, Qianlong had begun to indulge in pleasure-seeking pursuits in Jiangnan, while large crowds of people had exerted themselves to welcome his southern tour. The suffering of the people and the waste of resources likely upset Nala, who may have advised Qianlong to halt the tour and stop wasting the people's labor. Such direct criticism clearly angered Qianlong, and the marital conflict between them gradually deepened, eventually leading to the cutting of Nala's hair becoming the flashpoint in their relationship. From Qianlong's perspective, he might have expected Nala to be gentle and obedient like Empress Fucha, silently supporting all his actions. However, Nala's bold advice shattered the image of a docile and obedient wife in Qianlong's eyes, leading to his growing disappointment. Ultimately, their relationship went from being extremely close to becoming estranged. And this part of history is filled with twists and regrets. One possibility is that it was Wei Jiaqing who, through instigating both Nara and Qianlong, eventually caused a fierce argument between them. Nara, in anger, cut her hair, and Emperor Qianlong callously sent her to the cold palace. However, the likelihood of a power struggle between Wei Jiaqing and Nara is rather slim. In reality, the Qing dynasty court was highly structured with strict hierarchy and rules. It would not have been like how it is depicted in dramas, where palace intrigue could happen at any moment. Therefore, Nara's attempt to dissuade Qianlong from going on his southern tour should be seen as a reasonable and plausible argument. While Qianlong's southern tours searching for pleasure are mostly rumors, the fact that his tours were a drain on the people and finances is undeniably true. Qianlong was able to complete several southern tours thanks to the Qing Empire's strong economic foundation at the time. However, in his later years, Qianlong regretted these actions. He confided to his son, Jiaqing, that his southern tours had indeed harmed the people and drained the treasury. He expressed deep regret for his repeated southern tours, and therefore, in his will, he instructed that future emperors should not follow his example and embark on similar tours. Of course, even without Qianlong's explicit instruction, future emperors would not have had the resources to undertake such southern tours. After the reigns of Jiaqing and Daoguang, a period known as Jiadao decline, the Qing dynasty's national strength deteriorated, and the treasury was no longer sufficient to support the emperor's tours. It is worth noting that Nara's fate was incredibly tragic, and her end leaves one feeling a deep sense of sorrow. After the complete breakdown of her relationship with Qianlong, her fate quickly changed. Upon Qianlong's return from his southern tour, he had planned to formally depose Nara as empress. To achieve this, Qianlong first ordered the retrieval of 4 imperial seals that had conferred titles on Nara, those of Consort Xian, Noble Consort Xian, Empress Dowager, and Empress. The next step was to prepare for her deposing. However, deposing an empress was not just a personal decision. It involved the foundations of the state and had to be discussed and agreed upon by court officials. Qianlong wanted to depose Nara, but he could not offer a reason that would convince the officials. Why did Nara cut her hair? Why did she go against him? These questions had no clear answers, and there was no solid evidence to support Qianlong's decision. Therefore, the official stance was vague, and they did not explicitly support his decision. More importantly, without a sufficient reason to depose Nara, Qianlong could not justify the decision to the public. As a result, Qianlong ultimately abandoned the idea of deposing Nara. Although Qianlong did not officially depose Nara as empress, he subjected her to a form of emotional abuse. On the surface, Nara retained the title of empress, but she lost all practical power as empress. Qianlong promoted Wei Jiaqing to the title of imperial noble consort and assigned her to manage the harem's affairs in place of Nara. In other words, while Nara remained the empress in name, she had no real authority. Her position became empty and symbolic. Even more cruelly, Qianlong isolated Nara in the Yiquan palace, dismissing all the palace maids and eunuchs, leaving only 2 elderly maids to serve her. This treatment was reserved for the lowest-ranked consorts in the harem. Qianlong essentially turned Yiquan palace into a cold palace, subjecting Nara to the harshest form of isolation and neglect. This period was evidently extremely painful for Nara. Under Qianlong's cold treatment, she gradually broke down emotionally and eventually passed away in the 31st year of Qianlong's reign, 1766. Perhaps, as the old saying goes, there is no greater sorrow than a dead heart. In Qianlong's indifference and cruelty, Nara's heart had already died, and her physical decline was inevitable. Her death was not only the end of her body, but also the complete disappearance of her from Qianlong's heart. What is even more heart-wrenching is that after Nara's death, she did not receive the treatment that an empress deserved. Her funeral was very simple, which was completely incongruous with her once noble status. Historical records show that her funeral was conducted according to the standards of a concubine. And it cost only 200 taels and 7 coins, an amount that was pitifully small for a Qing empress. Even more painful was that Qianlong specifically issued an edict forbidding Nara from being buried alongside him in the Qinyu tomb. According to Qing regulations, only empresses had the right to be buried with the emperor. But after Nara's death, not only was she denied this privilege, but she was hastily buried in the tomb of the imperial noble consort Chunhui. Alive, she had been the empress, but in death, she was hastily buried, and her memorial plaque was nowhere to be found. As a rule, empresses, imperial noble consorts, and consorts of higher ranks would have a memorial plaque placed in the imperial tomb to be honored in ceremonies. However, since Qianlong did not posthumously confer the title of empress on Nara, her memorial plaque was never displayed in any memorial services, and she received no form of commemoration. These heartless actions made Nara one of the most unique empresses in Qing dynasty history, even in Chinese history. Her uniqueness lies in her once lofty position, which ended in an incredibly tragic conclusion. Qianlong's cruelty and abandonment not only caused her immense suffering during her lifetime, but also left her unremembered in death, making her one of the greatest tragedies in Qing history. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.